Time to get revenge on those date ruiners. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to Jormungand Ep4. And this is part of our new schedule. So for those who didn't know, we are doing a new scheduled format on channel. Prior to this, for quite a while, we have been doing unscheduled, to where I just react to whatever, whenever I get to it. But we're going back to a schedule, and this time we are getting to Jormungand and Dr. Stone today. I don't know why my mind blanked there. Yeah, Mondays are Jormungand and Dr. Stone, so prepare for that. Prepare for One Piece on Tuesdays, and so on and so forth. If you want the full schedule, I believe I put it in the community tab, I believe. And if not, there will also be another video just quickly going over it for those who might have missed it somehow. But let's talk about it. So Jormungand. Last time we got introduced to these assassins for hire who, I don't remember their exact name, but they're very musically inclined. There used to be a big group of them, but only one of them survived, and then a new one just recently joined. The dude, the big guy, he sees gunfire as music, and he's hired along with his partner, who's just kind of kooky and crazy herself, and seems to be kind of very eccentric, but specifically in the most random of ways. Like apparently not wearing panties at one point, it just for no real reason. And then, like, she's, like, really good with, I think, like, tinkering and stuff, if I'm remembering right. But either way, so they are hunting down Coco. They have been tasked to do that. And unfortunately, because of it, they ruined Coco and Valmay's date. And that's the ultimate sin in this series. You don't ruin Coco and Valmay's date. Gunfire ensued, a big firefight, and, you know, Coco and her squad, worked to handle the situation while also teaching, little boy Blue about how this all works, because he's still got kind of a warped sense of things. This is still all very new to him, and while he's, you know, fairly young, he's got to be taught, if he's going to be in this kind of situation, how to handle it properly. So we get to see a bit of that, but that was only the first of a two-parter, because our villains got away and are still kind of out there trying to do what they're going to do. So this is part 2. I don't know if there's going to be a third part or not, but this is our first multi-parter of the series, and that's interesting in and of itself. I wonder if these characters are going to become recurring past these episodes, though, or if they are going to die or whatnot. We got a little bit of info on the dude, but we don't have much of any info on the girl yet, so I'm wondering if we're going to maybe get some of that in this episode. Other than that, not really much else to preface this reaction with. So we're just going to get to it. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Excuse me. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, yeah, this definitely closed off the two-parter here by killing off both Maestro and Chinatsu. It was a notable couple episodes, though. And in this one, we learned a lot of big information, basically the information I wanted to know. When Chinatsu had been attending the opera with her parents, Maestro had come in and he murdered the opera singer and then just massacred everyone in the audience, including Chinatsu's parents, who were trying to protect her. She shot at him and he forcefully took her in, and at some point she just accepted it and I guess developed a sort of Stockholm syndrome for him. Probably due to the immense trauma of the, incident. It's actually a really fucking sad story when you view it from Chinatsu's perspective. Obviously, Maestro was just a fucking psychopath. His death was very shocking that it happened that suddenly and quickly. But Chinatsu's was more tragic because she was a young girl, age kind of unknown, but possibly late teens, early 20s, hard to say. Um, but either way, she was a young girl who was kind of forced into this world, and she was driven crazy by an insane massacre that happened in front of her. Her parents were violently and horrifically murdered. Everyone in the opera house around her was. It's like that's enough to drive anyone to insanity. And the fact that it manifested for her as Stockholm Syndrome for Maestro makes it even worse. The panties thing, like, was just part of her superstitions. It wasn't anything important. But her backstory definitely painted her in a different light. And so seeing that, the fact that after her death, Coco showed respect to her by, placing the cross in her hand and everything, closing her eyes and all, was very nice because it shows how seriously Coco does take death and how she understood that while at that moment there was no saving this girl, it was a tragic tale. That this girl didn't deserve this in the end, and that she didn't deserve to be put into these situations. But she also knew that it needed to happen, and there was no way to stop that at this point. It was a horrific situation that should have never happened, but unfortunately it did, and it was at that point where Chinatsu was just too far gone. And in this episode, we even get Coco talking to Yona about all this kind of stuff. Even bringing up the fact that the majority of gun owners in the world are not like soldiers, but citizens. Just ordinary, everyday people. And that it's ironic that the least amount of gun ownership is from these rebel groups that the media likes to go on a frenzy about. It's kind of wild to think about. And in the end, kind of shows you a lot of the hypocrisies of people when it comes to this kind of stuff. And it shows you just how, through this kind of reasoning, things can go wrong and things can turn bad. It's very clear that Coco does not really approve of all this war and stuff. It's pretty clear that she's like not doing this arms dealing out of some kind of sick, twisted enjoyment of it. In fact, it's actually kind of obvious that it's the opposite. That I actually feel like she hates all of this. that she despises this war and that there's some other reason that she's doing this. And I still say it probably has to do with her father. Again, the way he was brought up by that officer and the way she looked at him after he said that, there's something there. And her father, like, whatever the deal with that is why she's doing this for sure. And it's tough. Because, again, it's very clear that she's not a bad person. It almost feels like she's been tainted by this world as well. Just like Chinatsu has. That she was tainted by everything that had happened. And was just trying to, survive in it in a way. I really want to know more about Coco's past. I think that's one of the big mysteries, especially since even in this episode, we don't hear about why she's an arms dealer. They specifically make a point out of not letting us hear what she says there. All we hear is Chinatsu's response, saying that she's terrifying and all. That she's a monster. And it kind of makes you wonder exactly what she said. And that's going to come up at some point. That's obviously important. This episode was shocking. Like I said, Maestro's death kind of just happened. It kind of came out of nowhere and was really shocking and sudden. And then Chinatsu's was more built up to after that, of course, but still. That one was more emotional. And then you also have this, now we have this, U.S. government agent who's after us, Scarecrow. He's apparently wanting to take down Coco and is, kind of crazy. Very bold. In the fact that he just, punches her in the face. It's like, Jesus, dude. But yeah, he's definitely going to be a recurring thing, at least for now. I don't know if it's just for, the next episode or episodes, or if he's going to be consistently recurring from here on out. I don't know. But either way, he's kind of a tool. Let's be honest. The dude is a tool. He's an absolute fuckboy who thinks he's hot shit, but in reality is just a piece of shit. He's an American. So, he's a white American man. So no real surprise there, right? Yeah. Definitely gonna be interesting to see what happens with his character. He's probably going to die. Based on his actions and everything and his, boldness in regards to attacking people, he's probably going to get himself killed. I can see it. But yeah. This episode gave me what I wanted with the more info on Chinatsu. And it also made me kind of sad. It actually got me a bit emotional there with learning more about Chinatsu and especially her backstory with Maestro. But tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this episode of Jormungand? Let me know your thoughts on Chinatsu and everything as well. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.